This is Talking Hardcore, the podcast for people who love hardcore history.
You study history because it allows us to understand the present and prepare for the future.
Yeah, it's like Shakespeare or Greek tragedy.
Could you imagine what was in the Library of Alexandria?
I bet it was porn.
I'm not even wearing pants right now, Scott.
What's the old Clint Eastwood line? A man's got to know his limitations. I know my limitations.
The Talking Hardcore podcast is presented by Ace Industrial Solutions. Are you in need of skilled trade professionals for your next project? Look no further.
All right, so
Welcome to Talking Hardcore. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
I'm Scott.
I'm George. Scott wanted to start us off, but I just can't stand it when he does it, so I jumped in.
'Cause George has control issues.
It's not. I really don't. It's just you don't do it right.
But that's because you have control
No,
issues.
it's not because I have control issues.
100%.
If you did it right, I wouldn't have any problem with it.
All right, so today we're going to talk about...
No. Again, today we are celebrating
No, we're not.
1 year
Is it one?
from making our first, airing our first episode. It's actually 1 year and 2 weeks because we're late to getting this recorded.
It's not our fault. It's George's fault.
First episode aired in June of last year, early June. So today we are celebrating our 1 year of making podcasts.
Gin.
Cheers. I want to thank all of you for joining us. Any of you that still listen, we really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun for us to make this,
Sometimes.
and I hope you enjoy it. You always have fun.
Of course I do.
You can't even think of a single episode we made you didn't have fun.
Yeah, The Faithful Executioner.
Yeah, that was still fun.
That book club event was...
It was fun.
It was a Faithful Executioner.
No, because you remember we had great conversation with the guys in the
it
in the
doesn't
club.
matter. That's the one I just, was kind of like a...
Yeah, it's because you were tired.
and sick.
Yeah, so that's your fault, not the book's fault.
Whatever. No, not the podcast fault.
Right. So
All right, so yeah, let's do
to
it.
celebrate our 1 year anniversary, we're getting a little bit back to kind of how the podcast started, where we would jump into these random history topics while also talking about hardcore history episodes. But today we're going to go a little bit different. We are starting with a hypothetical scenario. I'm going to pitch it to Scott, and he'll answer, and then we'll get my answer.
Sounds good.
Okay. In this scenario, you can invite 5 people from history, any 5 people that you can think of. You don't even have to know their names.
Okay.
To your house for dinner for one night.
Okay.
I got this idea, this is nothing novel. I understand lots of people have these kind of conversations. Lex Friedman recently had a guest on, I can't remember which one it was, that posed this question to him, and that I was like, you know what, we should talk about this on the podcast. So Scott, who are your 5?
All right, I'm going to start with the king, Nikola Tesla.
Okay, so let's break it down. We're not just going to rip through this list. We're trying to make content here.
What?
This needs to be long. This needs to be at least 20 minutes.
Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is the father of AC current.
Sure.
He's
You're a big fan of AC?
Yeah, 100%.
Nice.
Because Edison was a schmuck.
Yeah, we've talked about how you think that.
Yeah, no, he was a schmuck. All right, so anyway,
everybody's a schmuck.
Nikola Tesla, because he was way ahead of his time.
Also
AC power.
crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, everybody's a little eccentric when you get to that level of intelligence. I mean,
I think that's probably true.
He created the Tesla coil.
Sure.
He electric motors, energy transmission.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, all kinds of different things.
Fascinating dude. Also seems like he might be fun to have at dinner because he's going to say some weird autistic type shit.
Now, one thing that you'd have to prepare for is he used to clean his fork and his silverware 20 times before he would actually use it.
Okay, so very autistic.
Yeah, very. Yeah, he was probably on the spectrum.
Definitely Wapner. Definitely Wapner.
Yeah. Benjamin Franklin's number 2.
Ooh. Dude, that's freaking great. I didn't think about Benjamin Franklin. That's freaking good.
So got to have Nikola Tesla.
No.
Benjamin Franklin.
No. Good job on that.
Yep.
Tesla is something I think more people would pick, but Benjamin Franklin, I like it.
Oh.
He doesn't get the credit a lot of founding fathers do, but Benjamin Franklin was pretty friggin' sweet.
He was also an inventor and
all kinds of cool shit.
Diplomat.
Yeah. everything.
Philanderer.
Yeah, I don't know how that's relevant for this dinner, but okay.
He liked to party.
Yeah,
He
he was
liked to
probably
party.
a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Okay.
Alan Turing,
Hmm.
the guy that invented
Sure.
basically the first computer.
Right. The Turing test, all that stuff.
So not only do we have the father of AC current, we have another famous
The
inventor,
guy who
Benjamin Franklin.
hung a key from a kite to prove electricity was a thing.
Yep. And now we have,
I'm sensing a theme here. You like electricity.
No, I like inventors.
Hmm.
Alan Turing would be an interesting one to have.
That's great. I was not thinking of a lot of inventors. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, so we have Tesla, Turing, Benjamin Franklin. Just for my own, this guy's not going to really fit into this
Sure.
kind of thing, but I'd have to talk to George Washington.
Well, that's a good one.
He would have to be.
Listen,
he'd be
nobody's going to criticize you for wanting to talk to George Washington.
No, you don't
Well,
think so?
I mean, nobody that listens to this podcast.
I mean, hey,
This is a history-themed podcast. Who the fuck would want to talk to George Washington? If you listen to history, you like history, you're like, yeah, I want to talk to that guy.
100%.
Of course.
I mean, and the next person, we're not going through his. We're going to do something current.
Oh.
Elon Musk.
Okay.
So we have
So it's theoretically possible.
it.
We
Yeah,
could get him to come on the show.
I doubt Elon Musk.
It's
would come on.
possible.
It would be awesome.
Theoretically possible. That's all I'm looking for here. buddy.
So if we had, so think about my dinner table here. You have me, Alan Turing, Benjamin Franklin, Nikola Tesla, George Washington.
all dudes, you
Elon
fucking
Musk.
bigot.
I'm sorry. I mean,
All dudes.
there you
Sorry, I like to apologize for my host. He's a bigot.
go.
Anyway, go ahead.
But those five.
Okay.
That's it.
That's a good list.
Now I have a second five,
Okay.
but the first five is for like my own personal knowledge and getting to know people that I think that are
Yeah.
smart, like inventors from the history. The next one would be all like war leaders.
All right, go for it. Fire those
I
off
mean,
too.
you'd have to have Alexander the Great.
Sure.
You'd have to have Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
You'd have to have Genghis Khan.
Sure.
Leonidas.
Okay.
And
That's a
then,
good outside the box one.
why wouldn't you want to have
Oh, yeah.
Spartan? You'd have fucking Spartan there.
No, like the 300.
And Charlemagne would be awesome.
Charlotte, but you should drop Leonidas and go Charlemagne and Napoleon.
This is my.
I'm just saying, think about that.
Look,
Charlemagne.
we already met
and
Napoleon
Napoleon.
and Bill and Ted's fame, like greatest adventure, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
So
Bill and Ted. Yeah. No, but Napoleon, you add Napoleon into that mix, and that's like a who's who.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Charlemagne would be.
I mean, there's probably some Chinese dudes and some Muslim dudes that we have no idea because that's
What,
a
you
big
can invite-
lapse in
you
our
can invite Xerxes. You can invite
Darius.
Darius,
Dude, Darius would be a great one. Because then you could be like, what really happened?
or you can talk.
Did you just assassinate that guy? What really happened?
You can go way further and go Ishburnapal.
Dude.
That
you
dude.
could go Moses.
You could go Moses.
I'm not joking. Like you
Ooh.
could go Moses.
We could actually divide this up to have like a religious one too.
Well, I mean, almost everybody who's kind of religious in this country is going to say Jesus is their number one answer.
Sure.
And you know what? Even if you're not religious, it seems like there's pretty good evidence that there was a guy named Jesus there.
Sure. My cousin, Jesus.
I mean, when you want to talk to him, when you want to know, like, is this guy that charismatic?
I'd be like, Jesus, we ran out of wine. Come on, bro.
Maybe that's why you invited him in the first place. You're like, if we bring Jesus, the party goes all night.
Exactly.
And with some of these boozes you're picking, you might want that.
Come on, bro.
And he hangs out with some fun women,
Give us a nice
right? I mean, he hangs out with some rowdy women.
Yeah.
Jesus might have been the guy.
Might have been.
All right. I
But
like
didn't
that
think of
list.
religion one though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, religion you could have done.
That's because you're a heathen.
Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, but it's because you're a heathen.
I didn't even think religion.
Yeah, you go Jesus Christ, Moses. I mean, you really want to do it, you go Noah.
Ooh,
I mean, wouldn't Noah be a good one?
Adam.
Yeah, I mean, you're a dick for not saying Eve. You
Let's
bigot.
just say Adam.
You bigot.
Bro, what happened with the apple, dude?
Yeah.
What happened with the apple?
Exactly.
Was this you? Was this her? Be straight up.
Yeah.
Jesus is right
No, don't lie
here.
to
Jesus
Jesus.
knows the truth.
Don't lie to
He
Jesus.
already knows the truth.
How could you dare lie in front of Jesus? Don't be a dick.
Moses, Noah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, if you
Mm.
wanted to go religious route, at least Catholicism or
Mhm.
Christianity,
Yeah.
I mean, those that would be 4. Who would be the 5th?
Okay, so we said
Judas.
Jesus. Oh, that's a good one. So you're saying Jesus, Noah, Moses,
Adam.
Adam, like John the Baptist.
Why wouldn't you do Judas?
But Judas is an interesting one. You have some drama at dinner.
Yeah. I think
Like that depends on what kind of dinner you're going for.
Jesus.
Do you want some shit to get turned up? Like Jesus, like, hey motherfucker, I don't think that shit was funny.
You sold me out.
Okay, so because then there's another whole category that would be great. So let's pitch this one
All right.
before I give you some of my answers. Comedy.
Ooh.
Right.
Oh,
so then you're going
shit.
Richard Pryor, George Carlin.
George Carlin.
Richard Pryor is one of the funniest people to ever live.
I probably wouldn't go with Richard
Oh,
Pryor.
dude, have you listened to his stand-up? You probably haven't, and that's why you wouldn't.
No, I've listened to some.
You need to go back and listen to it because he's right in your wheelhouse.
You know what?
No, like he did an episode, and when his special, when he came back after he set himself on fire doing crack, he did an episode, a stand-up special where he made a bunch of jokes about himself being lit on fire, running down the street. Like Richard Pryor is so funny. When you listen to his stand-up, you're dying. Like just hilarious.
You know, I'd have to have Don Rickles.
You would.
Don Rickles would be hilarious.
No, I would not want to hang out with him.
I'd love to have him.
It'd be fine, but like if I could pick 5 comedians, he's not in the top 5.
What about 5 musicians?
Dude, what about Rodney Dangerfield?
Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, I mean, come on. Like you get to him together with some of these other guys, it would be pretty funny.
They all came up at the same time, though.
Well, you don't have to pick. You can pick current guys.
So you, I mean,
like,
so if you did Don Rickles,
or maybe you should be
Pryor.
thinking about this, like putting together people who would purposely not get along, like Don Rickles, and then you put in like somebody who's super sensitive, so Don Rickles can just rip on him and make him cry.
Oh my God! How about what imagine this? Dave Chappelle, Don Rickles,
Oh yeah,
Richard Pryor. What's that angry dude's name? God, what the hell's his name?
the one from the Daily Show,
No.
Sam Kinison,
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
And oh man,
Sam Kinison did some funny bits there. He was pretty
oh,
angry
Kinison
about.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was hilarious.
So
I loved him.
you
and
could add him in that.
Rodney Dangerfield would be a good one. Sam Kinison would be
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
good second.
Eddie Murphy, his stand-up was insane.
I don't think Eddie Murphy.
Dude, you haven't watched it as an adult. You just haven't. Go back and watch Raw. Go back
Yeah.
and watch his stand-up special Raw
with the leather
as an
with red
adult.
leather, yeah.
As an adult, and think about him being 20 when he's doing that.
I'd rather have Andrew Dice Clay.
You would.
Yeah.
Trust me, Eddie Murphy, his stand-up is hilarious. He's got this one bit. Bill Cosby calls him.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's doing his Cosby impression. Spot on. And Bill Cosby's giving him shit for swearing in his stand-up special, the stand-up act. And then he goes and calls Richard Pryor, and he does a spot-on Richard Pryor impression, like nails it. Richard Pryor impression, where Richard Pryor says, "Do you get paid for telling them dirty jokes?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Then tell that motherfucker shut the fuck up and have a Coke and a smile."
Sit down and have a Coke and a smile.
Eddie Murphy is underrated because he stopped doing it to make a bunch of money.
Doing movies.
But man,
well, Beverly Hills Cop was good.
Yes. He had a run of amazing shit. You got to remember, he did Beverly Hills Cop. I think he was like 22 years old.
Was he really that young?
Yes.
Holy
Stand-up comedians are so rarely good at that age. There's a few. Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, Steve Martin was huge at a really young age.
Yeah.
Most of the time, that stuff takes a long time to get good at.
Steve Martin always looked old, though.
Yeah. But he blew up.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, he did always look old.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
I like Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be particularly fun to hang out with.
You don't think so?
He'd be fine. Like, we're talking about like a top 5.
Airplane?
There's no way he's top 5. Chris Farley?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, right.
I think Chris Farley would be too much.
John Belushi.
I think he'd be too much.
You say that, but like those guys probably weren't always like that.
Ooh, Belushi like the pound a fifth of Jack.
Yeah, that
Like-
sounds like somebody you would want to watch do that because you're talking about only one night.
I don't think I
Listen,
would watch that.
you're not talking about.
That's like watching a train wreck. I think
but
being around
no, it's a train
Belushi-
wreck if you're watching this for a month in a row. One night you're like, wow.
I think one
The
night.
third night you're like, whoa. The 10th night you're like, come on, man,
Get it together.
get it together.
You got a problem.
You know who would be cool? Would be like 1980s Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Because that guy, what an underrated talent he was. You watch the Blues Brothers and you watch Ghostbusters, and you're like, that's the same guy? How's that the same guy?
I just watched Ghostbusters.
Great movie.
I bought it for Vita.
Did she like it?
She likes Slimer.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was a little boring other than
Yeah,
that. Oh,
because
and the
she's a
Stay
little
Puft-
she's a little young.
and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
She's a little young for Ghostbusters. I can see why I wouldn't hold her attention, but when she gets older, I mean, that's an epically great movie.
Maybe. Or she'll be like, Dad, you're so old.
No, she'll like it.
Watching these old movies.
She'll still like it because it's a classic. That's a movie that holds up. It does. It just holds up.
You're so old.
Some movies don't hold up. Some shows don't hold up. Ghostbusters holds up. All right, so you want to ask me my top 5?
Yeah, please. Top 5.
Okay.
Don't steal any of mine.
No, that's why this is trickier for me because I'm not going to double dip.
No, you should still double.
No. I like the idea of not double dipping.
I just named 15 people. Though.
So that's okay.
Well, 20.
One of the ones I thought of that I thought would be great. Shit, I was just on the tip of my tongue. Now I can't remember what I was going to say.
I mean, you can go with psychopaths.
I don't want to hang out
Let me
with
do a
psychopaths.
psychopath one.
Okay, you do that.
All right.
So why would you want to have dinner with 5 psychopaths?
I don't know. Maybe they kill each other. Maybe they kill me.
Yeah,
Who
why
knows?
would you want to have dinner? with
Like, think about it. You could have
No,
Mao.
so you
You could
basically
have Mao, Stalin, Hitler,
no, they weren't psychopaths.
Tojo.
They weren't psychopaths.
No, I'm just saying. You could have all. You could have.
You
all
want to
the-
go dictators?
Yeah.
You want to go evil people? Maybe
Sure.
they weren't psychopaths.
Che,
It's a
che
different thing.
Guevara.
Yeah.
Think about that. You have
Yeah.
all 5 of them.
Oh, dude.
How about you have Marx and Frederick Engels in the same room as Stalin?
Dude, that's a great one.
and Lenin. Oh my God,
Mm.
they would be like, they'd be like, you do not understand. This is not how this works. And then Lenin would be like, this is how definitely how it works.
And
This
he's
is
like,
how I
fuck
say
you.
it."
Fuck you. I'll do what I
And then
want.
Stalin would probably just kill, Marx and Engels.
Sounds like he shoots them all. He's like, I win. Right?
Right.
You're like, no, there was no winner here. He's like, but I win.
But there's nobody else.
But I won.
Yeah.
They're dead. I'm alive. I win. But it wasn't a game.
Yeah. Like,
It is now. I win.
It wasn't a competition.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh man. Okay, so people I would want to talk to, because that's the way I like to think about this. Is like, because you're having them over for dinner,
Yeah,
right? That's an intimate setting.
sure.
So you're having a conversation. So then you want to get 5 people together where the conversation would be lively and fun. So I'm not going just dead people, right?
Well, with my first 5, just so you know,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure the conversation would leave dinner, and then we'd end up going like
Yeah, sure.
and putting something together in the garage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, of
but-
course.
but
You
anyway.
probably build some kind of cool rocket shit.
with some cigars or
Yeah.
some booze for sure.
I think I would pick, to start it off, I would pick somebody interesting from history, and then I would pick Dan Carlin.
Okay,
Because think about that. Then he's doing all the work.
so
He's asking all the questions. You don't have to sit there and ask a bunch of questions because Dan's already doing it. And you can just sit back and relax and just kind of like, he's going to think of the questions you wish you thought of.
so let's hear your 5.
Yeah, I'm thinking because you you had a lot of thoughts
Did
there.
I steal Benjamin Franklin from you?
No, but I wish I would have thought of him.
I know I didn't steal Alan Turing.
No,
Or
that would
Nikola
never.
Tesla.
No, not at all. But like,
Let's just do the first 5. Those
I would
first
think.
5. So
I
Elon
would
Musk.
think. For me, I would have to say George Washington, but I can't because you picked him. So I would say Thomas Jefferson.
That'd be a good one too.
I mean, the guy wrote the fucking Declaration of Independence. I would love to talk to him, and I would love to talk to him about, hey, this lady that you were knocking up that was your slave, like, is she your girlfriend? Is it a loving relationship? Like, I probably wouldn't have the balls to ask that. But
He'd probably want to duel you.
But it would be interesting to know. You know, if you really wanted to have a fun conversation, right? When you do Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson,
Yeah.
like those two together would be a fascinating conversation. To get to talk to those two at the same time.
But they had similar thought processes.
No, they were opposed diametrically about a lot of important issues.
I thought that was Thomas Paine.
No. Paine kind of just like kind of took off.
Yeah, but Thomas Paine.
He wrote Common Sense. Okay. Jefferson was more of an anti-federalist. Alexander Hamilton wrote the Federalist Papers.
Yeah.
Like those guys, and to have them look at what how America is now, and see what the writer of the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton, thinks, and Thomas Jefferson, somebody who was much more of a states' rights guy. It would be interesting. That would be a fun conversation to have. So I think those would be the first two I would pick, but I think I would want to have it with just them. And then my next dinner of the other three would be a different night.
I'm pretty sure that it would be a lot of finger pointing and saying, you see, I was right. You don't want bigger government.
Right. But also, then Alexander would be like, well, look at, they're a superpower. So, like, that's the thing, right? So there's a give and take, and that's why it would be fun, because those two guys also were good at having arguments.
Yeah.
Or Adams. Like, if you're going founding fathers, John Adams. It'd be pretty sweet to talk to Patrick Henry.
But see, we're not just doing founding
I know.
fathers.
I know.
You can do whoever the hell.
No, I know. And then I like to go back to, like, you know who I'd love to talk to? John Locke.
Okay.
You know, that would be a great person to talk to. I probably would want to talk to Marx because to show him, like, okay, here's where your ideas actually led in real life.
Yeah.
Do you think that proves your ideas don't work? And to hear him kind of say no.
But you'd want Frederick Engels too.
Yeah, whatever. Marx was the real ringleader.
You'd want both.
I wouldn't. I'm not wasting a pick on both of them.
Well,
I'm just not.
And
I'm just picking Marx. He's the famous one.
Yeah, but if you pick up Marx, and I guarantee, okay, so I don't know Marx. Okay,
Obviously.
I have an idea that he would say, you know, this isn't what I envisioned. I envisioned something like,
I don't know
if he could read this real quick. He probably would have envisioned something like you read out of like Lord of the Rings. Okay, like the elves. That's what Karl Marx envisioned.
I don't think so. I think if you actually go back, because it's probably been a long time since you looked at it. If you look at the Communist Manifesto and you look at their writings, they were pretty much understanding that it was going to take a lot of death. It was going to take a lot of death to make it happen. They kind of knew that.
But it took.
They weren't naive about that.
No, it took a lot though.
Right, but they believed it would. But they were naive in thinking that it would ever lead to what they thought it would lead to. That's where they were wrong, right? To get to where they wanted to go would have taken a shit ton of death, but it was still never going to be possible.
No.
But anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about like Nietzsche? I'm trying to think of philosophers because that would be fun. And I guess, you know what?
Why don't you have Aristotle, Socrates?
I was going to say Socrates. That's who I would go. I would go Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, Karl Marx, Socrates, and John Locke.
Okay.
I mean,
I was waiting for like Stalin.
Dude, no, John Locke. That's a fucking banger list. You know the conversations we would have?
I don't think it would be conversations. I think people would get pissed off.
Oh,
and then
no.
These
These are men of thinking.
Jefferson dueled a lot of people.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure.
Did he? Did he? I don't think he did.
It wasn't Jackson.
Yeah. I don't think Jefferson dueled a lot of people. I might be wrong. Hamilton died in duel, but I don't think he dueled a lot of people. He was kind of shitty at it because he died. Like, if you're good at duels, you don't die in one. Just as a rule.
Burr and Hamilton.
Yeah, I knew that. You're supposed to know that.
8 legendary duels of history. We don't want to get into that.
Yeah, but so those are the 5 that I think I would love to talk to just in general history or philosophy. I think that would be a fun. I'm not into the strategy stuff, right? Military strategy doesn't really interest me at all. But like, I would love to talk to Julius Caesar, obviously. Right. Fascinating. Genghis Khan, fascinating.
We
So
left
if we're-
out one big one.
What's that?
Hannibal.
Oh, dude. That would be a great one.
Yeah. Think about Hannibal.
So then you're thinking about lists to put together, because what if you could put together a Roman themed list so that it would be fascinating? So you go Hannibal, you go Caesar, and then you throw in a couple emperors, Marcus Aurelius. Like that would be a good one.
Well, if you wanted to go with, like, let's say military tacticians.
No, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is just a Roman history one.
Oh, gotcha.
So they could okay, so Hannibal hated Rome.
Yeah.
All right. So be great to have him at the table with some of the best leaders of Rome. And then you throw in a wacky ass Nero for fun, just to spice it up.
Wait a minute. What was the Germans? God. The German.
Say it right.
It's the German.
It's the German.
The Germans are here. What was his name, George? I don't remember what his name.
Which one?
God.
The German general?
Yeah. What was his name?
Give me a time frame in Roman history.
Yep.
There wasn't one that they ever really mentioned by name. That was
yes,
that
there was.
amazing.
Because he brought out his own lawyers, and came out and said, "Oh, we're doing the same things you're doing. You don't cross the Rhine." What the hell was his name?
It wasn't a German. It was a Celt.
No, it was a German.
No, it wasn't. It was a Celt. And you're talking about the one that would be fun. There is the one who almost was able to unite the Celts. Okay, he united them, but they still lost to Caesar, and they still have statues of him in France. And what the hell was his name? Gosh, that's gonna annoy me. Yeah, they still have statues of him in France. Yeah.
Was this it? No, I don't. Yeah. Arminus? No.
No.
Yeah. But I forgot his name.
No, I'll tell you in a second. This is great content, by the way. Us looking shit up on our phones.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. I'm just trying to remember what I think I forgot his name. But yeah, I thought Arminius?
No.
Stop it. Anyway, think about that. You could have five military tacticians all in the same spot. Like you could say, "Oh, let's do Rommel, Patton,
Oh, that'd be good.
Yamamoto. But if you wanted to go naval, you have MacArthur.
Oh, Nelson.
What?
Admiral Nelson.
Oh yeah, you could have Admiral Nelson. But do you think about that? You could have Bull. God, what was his name? Bull.
Vercingetorix.
Vercingetorix. That's who
he was a Gaul.
Oh,
not a German.
I thought he was German.
No.
Anyway, so Vercingetorix, Hannibal, Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Tecumseh. No. All of those would be fascinating.
You can go Civil War. You want to talk to Stonewall Jackson?
So that was the other guy
Robert
I was
E.
going to
Lee?
add to my list.
Stonewall Jackson? Ulysses S. Grant?
No, Abe Lincoln.
Oh, Abraham Lincoln. That's
if you were fun here, you could go just 5 Civil War people and have a great conversation. You go Lee, Davis, Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, and just for shits and giggles, because he's always the life of the party, Custer.
Or you go like
that'd be fun. Oh, dude, I didn't start recording.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I was just messing with you.
Don't.
I was just trying to screw with you.
Recording. It's not going to work. I think about that though. There's so many, you could have themed dinners.
Oh no, it's a fun concept. These are fun.
I like
comedians
vendors, though.
I'm gonna go with my top 5 comedians now.
All right,
you didn't ask, and I'm just gonna do it anyway.
I don't care about your comedians.
I would go. I think I would want to have a conversation with Tom Segura.
Okay,
he's very funny, and his sense of humor really closely matches mine. So I think it would be awesome to have him over for dinner because I think I would laugh a lot.
Okay, Tom Segura.
Okay. And then Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle, Tom Segura, Richard Pryor. Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. You're going to throw Chris Rock in there?
Dude, Chris Rock has one of the best stand-up specials in the history of the world.
All right, who's the fifth?
I mean, if we were going before 10 years ago, it would have been Bill Cosby. I mean, his shit was hilarious.
You could still invite Bill Cosby.
But now it's kind of not fun anymore.
Don't drink anything around him.
It kind of ruins the mood.
Well, not for him, it wouldn't.
Yeah. So he's out. Rodney, or no. Yeah.
I can't believe you wouldn't have Don Rickles.
No, he's funny, but I mean, it's just not that kind of humor is not the funniest to me.
Oh.
Because to me, Don Rickles' humor is easier.
Yeah, but he'd tear apart anybody.
But it's easier. It's easier to make fun of people than it is to be funny without making fun of people. It just is. And that's okay. That doesn't mean it's not great and it's not funny. It's just, it's not, I'm into stuff that's less easy.
I got a better one for you.
What's that?
What the hell would you serve at dinner?
Okay, wait a minute. First of all, I would pick Will Ferrell is my fifth for this.
Okay. Interesting. You can't have
hilarious.
You can't have John C. Reilly.
No, but like, man, maybe those two are combined one person. John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, just you lump them together. Because Step Brothers. Okay, so serving at dinner for comedians?
No.
To say for the comedians, I think maybe acid.
No, yeah, no, we're not doing the comedian. No, who cares what you serve the comedians?
Mm-hmm.
No. What are you gonna serve? You know, Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson and
Ribeyes.
Ribeyes?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Listen, that's a never go wrong. You're feeding men's men. I'm cooking a big ass ribeye, a baked potato with a fucking ice cream sundae, and be like, man, you guys live in the best time ever.
You.
I'll be like, yeah, I bought this at the store for like $70. They're gonna be like, what? Like,
well, they'd be like $70.
No, but I mean,
buy a whole farm.
Okay, so I'd be like, I can go buy this at the store whenever I want, and they'd be like, you live in the best time in history. Like, yeah, you're right.
Well, now
You didn't have to go out and kill the cow first
now
to get this steak?
I would have one caveat though.
Yeah, what's that?
So, like, especially with my list, Alan Turing, Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, you're significantly less coolest than mine.
No, I beg to differ, but they all know they know where technology currently is.
Okay.
So they're intimately familiar with where things are compared to when they were around.
Okay.
So, you'd have Tesla, you'd have Turing. Turing, would be like, oh, your phone is like the most advanced computer, whatever. Not really.
Yeah,
the
but
most advanced computer.
I get what you're saying.
But so they know they're up to date.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you start talking. Like, you don't have to explain.
See, because you're thinking about like what's going to happen going forward from this conversation. Where I'm having this conversation to talk about the past.
Yeah, but okay. But when you
You're like,
invited,
let's invite some shit.
wait a minute.
Invent
When you invited Alexander Hamilton and
Mhm.
Thomas Jefferson, they have to understand. Like, they have to have.
No, see, that's not where I'm thinking of it at all. I'm thinking about let's talk about what you were talking about then, what you think about then, and then I could say, okay, well, here's the scenario now. What do you think that means? I don't want them to have all the preconceived notions of everything from now. I would be like, I would just want them from when they were alive.
You wouldn't want their take on where we are now.
Yes, but I would give them the context first.
Yeah, but your context could be wrong.
Yeah, but it's my context. That's what I would give them.
But they have to have. This is my point.
No, but because
They
I
would
don't
have to be up to date.
No, because then they would end up just talking like the assholes do now.
No,
Yeah,
I disagree.
most likely.
I would say, once again,
Listen, if they grew up with all the context that of all the stuff that we have, they probably would think in a lot of the same ways we do. I would like to see what somebody who was alive then
and who wrote the Constitution,
who thinks about the Declaration of Independence.
Declaration of Independence. Sorry.
Thinks about issues of today, but without having all of the historical context.
I wouldn't talk about issues of today. I would talk about the size of the government.
Yeah, that's
What do you-
issue. That's
we-
an issue.
Is
That's
that-
just your issue of
Oh,
today. It's an
okay.
issue. But I'm not even looking for that. I just like what you think you thought the national government should stop at. What was the point where you thought that would make sense? Did you ever think something would be able to get as big as, say, what it is now? Right? I don't need their takes on everything about now. I want to know what they think. I want them to answer my questions.
Yeah,
I know how to word the questions with enough information to get an answer.
I'm pretty sure they'd be upset about World War I and World War II.
I
At
don't
least
know.
are involved.
No, see, but that's the thing, right? Is you say off the cuff, but then you give them all the context, and they probably wouldn't, because it's especially World War II. You're like, yeah, this guy was like straight up evil.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, you probably had to do that.
maybe World War One.
But like World War I, they were kind of doing some shit that pissed us off. What do? I mean,
They attacked our boats.
Jefferson was president when shit went down. The idea that you don't want to go invading foreign wars and shit sounds great in a vacuum until like the world got smaller.
Yeah,
So like you have to give them that kind of context, right? But then you get to talk to philosophers, and this is what I'm really thinking about here. Is that I'm having a philosophical conversation with Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, John Locke, Karl Marx, and
Socrates.
That's fucking sweet. I don't need to give him for philosophy stuff. I don't need to give him current events.
Wonder how Socrates would be with that ribeye.
Oh, he would have loved that shit.
You think so?
Oh, hell yeah. Socrates was not a vegetarian.
No, I didn't say he was a vegetarian. I'm just wondering how he would.
All these guys would be like, why is this so soft?
Yeah, why is it?
Why I can swallow this without chewing for 3 minutes. This is the craziest meat I've ever eaten.
They might not like it,
No, yeah, you're right. Because it's not what they're used to.
especially if you gave it to them, medium,
Oh, dude.
medium rare.
Maybe they ate it like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. I don't
But-
think they did because their food wasn't as clean as ours.
I don't know if that's true even. I don't know.
Or they
Sounds
just,
right.
Or they just slaughtered it that day. And
Right.
Well, steak's on the
And
table.
you just cut a piece off and start eating it.
It'd be
All
an
right.
interesting dinner.
Oh, fuck yeah, it would.
I have to ask one more thing.
Sure.
What are you serving to drink?
Oh, well, just booze. You'd have whiskey.
But you have Socrates. Socrates.
You'd have
never
whiskey
tasted
and wine.
whiskey.
You'd have wine. But you'd be like, hey, try this. And you'd be like, oh, that's pretty good.
Maybe.
Here's some Fireball. I'd serve them all Fireball. Only Fireball.
Serve 'em
No
all
wine or nothing. I'm like,
Fireball.
we invented this thing and everybody drinks it now.
It's all cinnamon.
That's all everybody
It's
drinks.
all cinnamon.
It's cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah,
Here, have a
great
sip.
breath after this one. Don't
Have
worry
a sip.
about it.
It's like-
we know you guys didn't brush your teeth very much,
It's all anybody ever drinks.
or at all.
They did, though.
I don't think the toothbrush was invented till
Yeah,
the
they used other
1800s.
things. There was ways,
Chew bark.
yeah, or like use all kinds of different stuff.
What if they smelled?
I was assuming this was a scenario where they got a bath first.
They might smell.
But then you just ignore the smell. It's not the worst thing. If you're getting to talk to Socrates, you're ignoring the smell.
It might be pretty bad.
I think you're ignoring the smell.
Like if you had Genghis
who wins
Khan-
that room? Is the better question. Like, who is the one that's leading the conversation? I bet it's Socrates.
Ooh, I don't think
I bet it's Socrates. Like, he was an orator. He was used to lecturing. Marx would try, and then the other guys would be like, that's dumb.
Just shut up.
I feel like they would be like, you're not thinking right here, buddy. And they
You
would
never
just,
know. What if Socrates was like, that's an interesting philosophy.
That's
you have
funny.
there."
if Marx turned Socrates into a commie,
How interesting would that be?
that's funny. I mean, that is funny to think about. Yeah. I mean, that's why these conversations are fun. All these different scenarios are fun to imagine, and that's what we do here. We're talking history. We like to talk hardcore history, but we also are not historians. We're not even close to that.
No.
And we're here to have fun conversations. So if you guys have your 5 that you think would be fun,
Oh my God,
after dinner,
please.
throw it in the Talking Hardcore Discord channel chat. In the Hardcore History Discord channel, Talking Hardcore chat.
Even if you guys overlap, I still want to hear your 5.
Oh, please answer in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, throw it in the comments. Otherwise, go to the Discord channel and give us your 5. We would love to hear.
And if you break it up by genre, that's fine too.
Okay.
I'm
so
okay with
before we leave,
Yeah.
presidents, top 5
Top 5?
to have for dinner.
Oh,
Not top 5. Top 5 to have for dinner.
top 5 to have for dinner.
That you were going to have for dinner.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy, okay.
Yep, Teddy Roosevelt's right.
I mean,
up
he's
there.
going to pick Washington, obviously.
George Washington,
Has
of
to be.
course.
Has to be.
Abraham Lincoln.
Sure. Those are 2 guaranteed.
Yeah.
JFK probably.
I'd probably have FDR
Okay.
just to see. I mean, you
sure.
got to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, you can't have all conservatives at dinner.
None of those guys were. I mean,
George Washington wasn't a conservative.
maybe, but there wasn't a conservative movement, and
You know what I'm
Lincoln
saying.
was a Republican, not a conservative.
Whatever. So okay, so I picked 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat.
Sure. Okay. Who's your 5?
Oh God, I'd probably have to have Reagan.
Dude, how funny it would be if you said Trump, though.
No, I could not.
Like
have
you pick
Donald
all
Trump.
these august people, and then you throw in a fucking crazy loon like Donald Trump, and he's just like, "Listen here, Abe. Let me tell you how it really is." I can't do a good Donald Trump, but like, you wouldn't get to hear anything from the other 5. That's what would be the other 4. That's why it would be funny. It would have been funny for you to say because it's like, well, that would ruin the whole conversation.
Well, I couldn't say Biden because he'd just fall asleep.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you wouldn't pick either of those 2. But like, it would be funny to say Trump because then you wouldn't hear anything from the other 4.
You know what would be kind of interesting to throw in that mix? Obama.
Yeah,
Throw Obama into that mix.
be interesting.
So instead of Reagan, scratch Reagan, throw Obama in.
Okay. That's
So you have
interesting.
Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt, Barack
FDR.
Obama, and FDR.
That's a good list. I think it's okay. So mine would definitely be Lincoln, Washington, for sure. Like, I think I would put Jefferson in there. He wrote the Declaration of Independence. Like, that's one of the most influential documents in the history of the world.
Yeah.
To get to talk to him about that would be fascinating. Like, this just, it can't be overstated to me, the importance of the Declaration of Independence. Fucking awesome. Awesome.
And the risks they took to write it. And
Sign it.
Yeah.
But completely awesome. And I don't I don't think of Jefferson in only like a mythology. Like, he was a complete person with his own foibles, his own faults. But yeah. Okay, so other presidents. Teddy's a good one because he would have been interesting to talk to. It's funny because, right, we've had 40 some presidents right now, right? And you're like, got to struggle to come up with 5. So I think I would pick Kennedy.
okay.
That guy, his life story is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Just dealing, I mean, the World War II stuff, fascinating. You know, Eisenhower might have been a good one.
Yeah.
Because you can't pick all old people. You want to kind of mix it up to some more modern presidents,
Sure.
right? So you got a couple from the founding fathers, Washington and Jefferson, and you got Lincoln because you have to have Lincoln, right? You have to. And then just a JFK. So you're kind of trying to spread it out. So you're getting somebody from multiple, each era, right? Teddy might be the right answer, but you already said it. I'm going to pick somebody.
I'm pretty sure Teddy might cause some ripples in there.
Oh, Teddy would be fine. He'd be fine in that conversation.
You have to remember the president's like 8. to his personality.
No.
That's what that was a quote from, never mind.
Yeah, Teddy was an interesting guy. You know what would be fun, though? Instead of just presidents, if you throw in Churchill to that. Because we haven't said Churchill once.
And we're taking him back.
How did we not say Churchill once in this conversation until now? That's so stupid.
Okay.
You're
Well-
an asshole for not saying Churchill in one of yours.
I'm really not.
You are.
No.
I'm sorry, but you are.
What?
I'll take Mark's out and add Churchill in mine.
No, you got to keep marks.
Just to spice it up. But Churchill, man, he would have made for a great conversation.
You got to keep marks.
He would have had a great conversation. Churchill would be getting drunker and drunker and just keeping everything lively, and it would be fun.
Smoking cigars.
Oh, yeah, but like, we calling Socrates on his bullshit. Be like, fucking A, man, you're wearing a robe. Come on.
I think they'd get along. I think,
Yeah.
you know what? I think
But-
Churchill might start wearing a robe after
I
that.
think they'd get along, but I also think Churchill would call him on his bullshit.
I think Churchill.
But I
would
think
start wearing a
Socrates
robe.
was the kind of guy who wouldn't mind being called on his bullshit.
I don't know. You never know.
You never know about anybody.
Socrates might go crazy.
Probably depends on what point in his life you pick him, right? By the end, when he's a grizzled, grumpy bastard, yeah. But like in his 20s, it's probably like, yeah, I like to hang out with this Churchill guy.
Yeah, but you never know. And Socrates in his 20s might
Okay.
have been a badass.
So we're going to go a little bit longer here because this is a fun question. Then you're having a dinner.
Yeah.
Churchill is one guest. Who are the other 4 guests?
Churchill?
Churchill is your main guest. Then you have to fill out the dance card, as it were, with 4 more guests from anybody in history. Who would you pick? What about Stalin?
You know, you could just get Churchill and you could do Stalin.
Yeah, but
You could do
mhm.
you could do Tojo. Not Tojo.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
What was the Japanese emperor's name?
Yeah, it was Tojo. Wasn't it?
Tojo. Yeah.
But he was the general. No, he was the emperor.
So you could do. I mean, basically, you could just get them all
Hitler.
together for dinner.
Yeah. Freddie, Roosevelt, Churchill.
You want to do Freddie Roosevelt?
Yeah.
You mean Franklin?
Yeah, but they probably called him Fred.
They called him Frank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Frankie. That makes more sense. Churchill, Frank, Joey. What do they call Adolf? What was his nickname?
Dolph.
They probably call him Addy.
They called him Dolph.
No, it was probably Addy.
They called him Addy for Adderall.
He was not Adolf.
He was an Adderall.
No, he was Addy. For Adolf, Addy, and then Tojo.
Oof.
See, I wouldn't do that, though. If I was having Churchill, I would think about who's the fun people that would make for Churchill a great conversation with Churchill.
Or just party.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking about partying.
You could have Philip II. You could have Churchill.
Churchill, Alexander.
Alex.
Caesar, Genghis.
Oh, Genghis. Oh, my God.
I mean, to have those guys, and, you know, obviously in the scenario, they all speak English.
And they're not going to kill each other?
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously. Churchill,
Oh, my God. Imagine
Caesar.
Stalin and Genghis in the same room
yeah,
together.
oh, the fucking Russian and the fucking Mongols. That's funny. They'd
They'd
kill each other.
Stalin would be like, "No, we took over Mongolia.
Mhm.
There is no Mongolia."
After like 400 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Could you imagine that? Like, have like the most ruthless killers all at the same, like.
I'm not thinking about it like that. I'm thinking about, okay, these guys were legendary generals, and Churchill loved history. And so he would be fun to have there.
Yeah.
So here's what you would do: Caesar, Genghis, Alexander, Churchill, Dan Carlin.
Ooh.
That's a fucking great dinner.
Okay.
You would enjoy that dinner.
Yeah. I'm. But everybody bathed
Yeah, of course.
because I don't think you're.
You don't want any stinky Mongols there.
I don't.
They're all bathed.
I'm pretty sure Genghis smelled really bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
Yeah. I mean, they all did compared to us.
I'm just saying.
Besides maybe Churchill, they all did compared to us.
Genghis.
I mean, I'm sure Caesar still did too.
One thing that Dan Carlin, this is a piece of history that I'm surprised Dan Carlin never said in Wrath of the Khans.
Okay.
Do you know, and I remember reading this in a history book, the Mongols used to tan and armor their hides with manure. So then it would be harder and like something about the manure
Sure.
made the leather harder,
They all do that.
and they stunk.
It's part of the hiding.
They-
It's part of the tanning process.
They stunk like
But they use manure, I believe, in a lot of tanning process
really.
because the chemicals in it help. Like as part of the tanning process, they also use brain.
Oh,
So part of the way
fat, probably the fat in the brain.
it's some chemical in the brain too. The fat and the chemical, like, so you can brain tan things. Like even on that show, history show Alone,
Huh.
like one of the guys tanned his own hide using some of the brain from one of the animals he killed.
Interesting.
Right. So, I mean, tanners have always stunk. Okay. Like the tannery guy was put at the edge of town
Yeah.
because it stunk. because what they used to tan hides was foul, and it still is really smelly. They're just in a building where you don't have to go,
Yeah.
right? I watched Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs episode where he went to a tannery and helped process these pelts and stuff, and it was just nasty. They got this big machine that strips all the loose fat because the hides, they're covered in little things of fat.
Yeah, you got to
Right.
scrape it off.
Yeah, scrape it all off.
Yeah.
And he's got this big machine they put it in. It just like rips it all off and feeds it through, and it's everywhere. And they got to get in with shovels and shovel the fat into big ass 55-gallon trash cans.
Yeah.
Like it's nasty,
To be
smelly
used
work.
for something else.
Yeah, sure.
We don't
like-
throw shit away.
Try not to.
We use everything.
Nobody uses everything.
They use the hooves, the bones. They
Yeah.
use all of it.
Lips
Trust
to
me.
the assholes.
Yeah, it uses it. They use everything.
All right, guys.
Even cowtail.
What's your 5? Throw it on the Discord channel. We'd love to know
Please.
who your 5 are. And if we're in there, don't put us in there. You guys need better people than us.
Yeah, no, hey.
Hell, you can come have a drink with us. You don't gotta. We're still live and pretty available.
You don't have to- well, some of us are.
We're not that busy. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Check the link in the description for the Discord channel. Throw it in there, everybody. We appreciate you listening. Happy 1 year of the podcast being around. So
Yep.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
This is Talking Hardcore, the podcast for people who love hardcore history.
You study history because it allows us to understand the present and prepare for the future.
Yeah, it's like Shakespeare or Greek tragedy.
Could you imagine what was in the Library of Alexandria?
I bet it was porn.
I'm not even wearing pants right now, Scott.
What's the old Clint Eastwood line? A man's got to know his limitations. I know my limitations.
The Talking Hardcore podcast is presented by Ace Industrial Solutions. Are you in need of skilled trade professionals for your next project? Look no further.